are the cookies, but mostly the cached images and files and clear data. And I found that one of the reasons why people don't like clearing the cache is, it wipes out your password. But if you click on the advanced button, and you can uncheck the box that says clear passwords. So you can keep your passwords when clearing your cache if you click on the advanced button and uncheck the passwords, which is what I do because, I don't want to always be putting in my password. All right, so the next slide. Speaking of password, I do love having a passkey and having all my passwords in my computer except for SIS. So for some reason, SIS does not like you to keep your password. So, and make sure that you are always never that you're not saving your password when you're in SIS. And sometimes it happens by accident. And you can manage that by also clicking the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner. Selecting passwords and autofill. And then when you click on the Google Password Manager, all of your passwords that you have saved in your computer will come up. And you just click on FCPS and click delete. And a lot of this is, I would use the word quirky, that if you keep your password saved, it just doesn't work 100% correctly if you have your password saved. So we're not going to do that. All right, so the next thing, the SIS team is structured in a way that each of us has a specialty. For example, let me introduce myself. I'm Anne-Marie Moken, and I work mostly with elementary attendance and EDSL. We're going to take this moment here for everyone to come on and introduce themselves.
So my name is Martha Rivera, and I work with elementary sectioning and elementary grading.
Hi, my name is Maria Rodriguez, also part of the SIS elementary team.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Patty Lopez, and I support SIS enrollment, parent view, parent records, SIS reports, and online registration, online verification update. Thank you.
Hi, this is Karen Stamper, and I support discipline, elementary section and enrollment. Health is my big one. And then I also help with the parent view accounts and some of the OLRs, getting my feet wet in that one. So welcome, everybody.
Okay, and just a few attendance reminders that run ATD 402 daily attendance list every day. Also, another reminder to change unverified absences to unexcused within 3 days. And especially at the time when there's a lot of field trips, that the mass change attendance could be used to make updates as well.
I have a question for the mass change attendance. We have been trying, I and my new office assistant, we have been trying to change it every day, but when we run the report, it's still showing unverified.
I'm sorry, can you tell me who you are? I apologize.
Sorry, I'm the new SIA hire at Cabron Elementary.
Okay, I will look into that and get back to you.
Okay.
Thank you. Definitely submit a FCPS tech support ticket so that we can help your attendance clerk and yourself as well. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
For our reports and self-audits, within your SIA role, there is weekly audits that are available, monthly audits and quarterly audits, as you can see here. For weekly audits, we have discipline, missing comments, students with no or more than one enrolling parent. Under monthly audits, we have all of these reports where it's reason for attendance audits, conditional enrollments, the membership comparison report that's meant to be run monthly, any students missing core classes, students missing homerooms, and if students have duplicate courses or if they have a grade level mix match. These are reports that we encourage for you to run on a monthly basis. For the quarterly reports, there are a lot of reports based on immunizations. If parents live with the student, but the lives with is not checked, if there is a no contact allowed verification list, the enrolling parent address audit, and then any enrolling parent with no emails. All of those are available, like we said, with your user role, which is SIA. And then also make sure that you are reviewing your EDSL login or your EDSL membership reports by logging into EDSL. And then also your audit dashboard is available to you as well so that you can make any changes that you need to for monthly membership information. So our sectioning reminders that we have for you is that every student at your school should have a full schedule, even if the student has attended one day. We're finding that we have a few students that maybe are having their classes deleted for some reason, but that is something that we don't do. We want to make sure that if a student does leave your school, that they have a leave date on the leave date field. And then also make sure that you're checking any students that have any W-9 codes, because sometimes if you're selecting leave students on inactive in classes, what that does is it does still allow teachers to see them on their classes under the seating chart. So if students don't have a leave date, then they're always going to appear for that teacher, even though they're inactive. So we want to make sure that we are adding leave dates if the students have not returned within that 15-day criteria. And then for elementary grading reminders for fourth quarter, the grading window does close on the last day of school, which is June 12th. Blank report cards are always available in other languages for parents. Now these are blank report cards that are available. The UGBK 6004 report will be available on the end of May, so that you have time to share with teachers, students that are still missing marks. Any students that are enrolled at your school for more than 25 days, they need to have fourth quarter marks and final marks. Any instructional questions that teachers or administrators have need to be sent over to, they have an email that's available that they can express their questions to them, and it's progress reports at fcps.edu, and it is ran by instructional services. So this is specifically for teachers that may have specific questions for students and any administrators as well. Students are going to be marked complete by IT on June 13th. And then grades are going to be visible to parents at 6 a.m. on the same day, which is June 13th, is the day after school lets out. And then if for any reason teachers need to make any grade changes, they need to submit them to you after the 12th. And the elementary marks change form is encouraged for you to use so that you have a record of the changes. Now, elementary grading for fourth quarter, also we want to remind you that teachers need to make sure that they're putting grades for fourth quarter and for final. There are two different areas where they need to submit grades. Comments need to be entered during the fourth quarter focus. If they want to add them in final, it's not going to appear on the report card, so they want to make sure that they're focused to fourth quarter, not final. And then also final quarter retention comments per regulation 2410. We want to make sure that all the specific things that needed to happen for students is done, during the third quarter. They've had a conference already, and that parents are aware that the student may be getting retained. If that is what happens on after June 12th, you need to follow the steps that we have here, which are students that are not promoted to the next grade level need to be set to retained for the end of year status field, and then going into school year 24-25, they need to have the correct grade level assigned. So we do have quick reference guides for that. There will be more information that will be coming up towards the end of the year once the end of the year processes begin. But this is just as an FYI. for SIAs for fourth quarter.
Okay, now hopping on to enrollment, a couple of things we wanted to share with you with respect to enrollment at this time of the year for elementary schools. We've got our little kindergartners coming up to FCPS for kindergarten next year for 24-25. A quick reminder, because we have been seeing some schools accidentally enrolling underage kindergarten students. So just as a reminder, students need to have turned 5 years old either on or before September 30th to be eligible for kindergarten registration. So that means that for the 24-25 school year, please check those birthdays. Make sure that those students were born before October 1st, 2019 to be eligible for kindergarten entry for next school year. I know Martha talked about grade level changes. At this point of the year, there can still be grade level changes happening. We have two different processes for grade level changes. The first one has to do with corrections to grade level. We're all human, so if we make a mistake, we accidentally enroll a student, for example, into first grade, and we meant to enroll them in kindergarten. Please use the steps for corrections to grade level that we have on the hub. We have it linked here on this slide. Now, if it's a grade level change due to academic reasons, meaning the principal, the AP has approved for a student to be promoted to the next grade level, the enrollment codes have to change. And again, we have those specific steps to follow linked here on that grade level quick reference guide on the hub. Just note that with grade levels due to academic reasons, the teacher has to be notified because it can affect report cards. Other reminders that you may or may not be aware of, you do have the ability, as with the SIA access level in SIS, to update a student's leave date or leave code, or their summer withdrawal date, summer withdrawal code or date. So that leave date and leave code has to do anytime you have to inactivate a student. Maybe, the student's last day was actually yesterday and you inactivated them for today. You can go back in SIS and make that leave date change. Same thing with no-showing. When you no-show a kid, maybe you use the wrong summer withdrawal code, you do have the ability to go back into SIS and update that summer withdrawal information. Moving on to the next slide, a couple more reminders. I know we have membership coming up. The month of April will be certified. So if you still have any lingering students with over 15-day absences, please check EDSL. Make those corrections in SIS as early as you can. Please do not wait until the end of the month, because some of these errors could take, a day or two to update in SIS. It's Virginia code, mandatory withdrawal. We have regulation 2234 linked here, but any students that are absent from school for over 15 consecutive days must be withdrawn. So no matter what the reason is. Our tip is please wait until day 16th. In case that student shows up on day 16th, there's no need to withdraw the student from SIS. But if they're still out on day 16th, day 17th, day 18th, then you do need to go back in SIS and inactivate that student using the leave date of that 15th day. So that's a lot of instructions here, but we have the breakdown here on this slide of what to do with those 15-day withdrawals. As we are getting closer to the end of the year, you may see an audit come out from the reporting office. So we wanted to give you a heads up here about W-2Bs and W-9As. Where are they? So you can look in your database, pull up a list of all the students that you withdrew with W-2B or W-9A, just in case those kids are not back in school. For example, maybe you withdrew a student and you know they were going to go to another FCPS school, but guess what? That FCPS school is still waiting for them. So either that is not going to happen, or maybe the student moved to another school out of the county, out of the state, and you do have to update that W-2B to another leave code. Same thing with our W-9A students. According to the definition with W-9A, a student cannot end the school year this way. So focus on your inactive kids, find your W-2Bs and W-9As, check and see if that W2B kid is already enrolled in another FCPS, and then find out the whereabouts of those W9A kids. Are they really going to come back for the rest of the school year? If not, go ahead and update that W9A to another code that describes where that student is at now. Great. All right, so we're getting closer to next school year for 24-25. This is just a reminder because we already put out SIS message number 50 about this, but rising kindergarten students, any students that roll to kindergarten in your 24-25 database, run a list of who they are, check and see if you need to still gather any outstanding registration requirements for them. And you can use the report UPVU 8501 to contact those parents if those kids are missing immunizations, missing birth certificate, etc. The ATD 412 student gain loss report is really, really helpful. It will help you balance out your database this year with next year. So any action that you're taking in 23-24, there needs to be a corresponding action for 24-25. So especially those kids that are moving on up to middle school. So if you're still enrolling new sixth graders, go out and reach out to the middle school SIA. Let them know, hey, if you have a new sixth grader, they need to be in your database for middle school for seventh grade next year. Same thing with any sixth graders that you're withdrawing right now. Let your middle school SIA know to no-show them in the middle school database for next year. Summer withdrawal dates, we have gotten some questions and tickets of what no-show date to use. Please use July 1, 2024 for any no-shows that you're doing in the 24-25 database. In the summer, after our end of year processing is over and we start working on 24-25, when we reach July 2nd, you can start using that current date as your no-show date up until August 11th. I believe, yes, August 11th is our magical date for next year after you do, when you're still no-showing kids after August 11th. You can use August 11th, 2024 for next year database. Online registration. So as many of you are aware, online registration for 24-25 has opened up April 2nd. We put out a SIS message number 80 about this. If you need to see any pending registrations, change your focus to 24-25 and then navigate to that registration queue. Unfortunately, if an OLR came into 23-24, there is no way to transfer it to 24-25. So we've gotten a lot of questions about that piece so far. And yeah, please review SIS message 80, has more details about OLR for next school year. Next slide. Okay, so this is really just a copy of what student registration has already posted on the hub site. I believe they did announce this at the middle of year conference. But for your reference, and I put some screenshots here in case you need a visual, these are the guidelines for any students that are moving towards the end of the school year. So if they're moving within FCPS on or after March 15th, or if they're moving out of the county on or after April 14th. So there is action you have to take with respect to the reason for attendance and the reason for attendance date. And depending on that or not, if the student is, their new address is within county or outside of the county. I don't want to go into detail here, but all the steps are listed here if you have any students in these situations that are moving, the last few weeks of the school year. Next slide. Let's jump into parents. A couple of things about parent records and SIS parent view. Big reminder here, we talked about this at the middle of year conference, but parents that are listed in that student's birth certificate are to be entered into SIS. Now for consistency, because of those families with multiple children, especially across elementary, middle, and high, you can use the name that appears on the enrolling parent's government issued photo ID. That way we have, the parent record is consistent for all the children in the family. If you need to add or edit any parent records, we have instructions in the hub, also linked here on this slide. And if a parent is logging into a parent view and they're not seeing all of their children, chances are there could be a duplicate parent record created. So if that happens, we have instructions of what to do if the children are in the same school or if they are in different schools. So in the same school, you do have the ability to merge those parent records. But if they're in different schools, let us know. We can assist with a tech support ticket and we can go out and merge those parent records. In the next slide, lastly here about parent view. In case you didn't know, we do have a quick reference guide on the hub. I have it linked right here, common issues and resolutions. So on that document, there are just some prompts, some text instructions that you can provide to parents if they're coming to you with questions about parent view. Common questions we see are, activation key. Schools have the ability to issue an activation letter to the parent. Other folks in your building can get permission to do the same thing. For example, office assistants or the principal's AA. If your principal wants to approve that access to that person, they can do so by completing an account request to have permissions to that parent view tab. That way they can also assist with printing parent view letters. On the parent view login site, there are options for how a parent can pretty much resolve password issues or username issues. So the most common one is they forgot their password. So they would click on that forgot password service on the login site, and they just have to follow the steps to get a link to their primary email. And with that link, they can reset their password. The other common issue we hear about, primary email and username. So a parent's primary email in SIS is just a primary email, meaning that is the email address that FCPS uses to communicate with that parent. That is it. Username is completely different. Username is just the login name for parent view. So both the primary email and the username are often the same, but they can be different. So I know there's that confusion sometimes from parents. Hey, I no longer use this email. I can't get into that inbox to get my reset email link, but you can let them know what their username, and the username is just a username. It doesn't mean they'll get any emails to that username. All right, so hopefully these tips help. I would suggest you bookmark the page on the common issues and resolutions.
Okay, so duplicate IDs, guys. This is very important. I'm seeing an uptick in duplicate IDs right now. I know we're doing registrations for kindergarten. SIAs need to remember that we have preschool, PK, HS students, probably well over 5,000. I mean, just IDs already out there. So no matter what a parent puts on a form, if they've never attended FCPS, you need to search for the student. There are programs that are non-FCPS programs, but IDs are created for those students. So it's very important. So basically, what I want you to do is everybody's first search, no matter if the parent says they've never lived in never lived here, you need to search. We have families that are coming in and out. We're in an area, they moved to Maryland, they moved to DC, they come back, and they don't realize their student has an ID because maybe they didn't attend, maybe they registered, never attended. So there's lots of different situations. So what I want you guys to do is always search first by birth date, and that should be the one that's on the birth certificate, and first name initial. This is going to help identify if they were entered correctly in SIS, their first name should be the same. What I'm finding is a lot of these earlyhood child IDs are created without birth certificates. So sometimes the last names could be incorrect. Like it has one last name instead of the two last names that are on the birth certificate. When you're searching, always less is more. I've been doing duplicate IDs for so long that I've asked you guys how you search, you tell me, and I sort of came up with this, and I always seem to find them. So I want you guys, this should be your first search. It takes minutes, guys. This takes a few minutes. And if you don't find them with that birth date and first name initial, I'm asking you to remove the birth date. Again, sometimes the birthday gets mixed up in SIS. Homeschool students are not required to provide a birth date. So then we're going to do a partial name search. And if it's a student with 2 last names, you're going to search by both last names separately, not together. Less is more when you're searching. And if you guys ever have any questions, like you find a student and you're not sure it's the right student, you can put in a ticket and I can look at that student record for you and tell you if it's the same parent, and see if that is the correct student, because it's really important that we maintain the integrity of these IDs. There's so much online information nowadays, especially preschool kids. Of course, we know they have IAPs. So a lot of students get an ID created because they went through local screenings. And so that ID was created, but they never used it. So the parents don't know that ID exists. So it's very important. Always do a search, always. And I'm hoping that we'll see less tickets. Now, if you create a duplicate ID, no worries. What we would like you to do is your ID that you just created is the ID we're going to no-show. So you're going to no-show. You can no-show with an S9D. It's going to get deleted anyway. You're going to, when you submit a ticket, I need both ID numbers and the student's name. A lot of you guys just say, delete this ID and don't, I need both IDs and then I need the student's name. So basically no show. And then when you bring in the other record that's existing, you're going to update it according to the new registration paperwork. It's very important. As I said, a lot of these IDs are created by early childhood programs. They are dummying in information. They might not have the ethnicity right. The enrolling parent needs to be checked. Middle names maybe need to be added, birth certificate information. You just need to go over the enrollment paperwork and match that up. So just make sure you're, it happens. You guys get busy. You don't always, and I've seen birth dates entered wrong. I had someone, an SIA said, oh, I put the wrong birth date in. So it happens. So, but we're always, usually try to keep the older ID when possible. I can't merge IDs that have both been associated with grading. So kindergarten through 12th grade. If I have a younger student, it's possible if the student's already started with you guys that maybe I can do something, but we would prefer not to. We prefer not to. We really want to keep those original IDs, especially because I have to verify there's no special education before I delete any ID, unless it's newly created, because then I know there's no special education on it. Because we don't want to be deleting those IDs. So it's important that we resolve these as soon as possible. Make sure when you put in a ticket for a duplicate ID, name it SIS duplicate ID. I am looking at those as soon as I see them, just to make sure that we can get anything corrected, try to get this student cleaned up as soon as possible. And if you have any questions, let me know. But that's it on duplicate IDs. Okay, so this is me too. Immunization reminders, guys. So you have a lot of students. We need to make sure that we're keeping our immunizations updated, especially for our students moving on to other schools. This report, a lot of you guys might not use this report, but U-HLT 8501, it's a big immunization extract data dump that's sort of helpful because you can possibly, here you can see what I've done. I've checked the Tdap, meningococcal, polio, and HPV. You can choose a few more vaccines, or DPT too. I usually don't choose varicella because varicella seems to always have some kind of weird thing. So but what we're looking for, and then I'm looking at religious and medical. Medical only applies if it's a permanent medical exemption, but you're going to run this report in Excel. You're going to choose, if you're at elementary school, go ahead and do this for all grade levels. Because if you have a religious exemption on a current student, but you have not marked the meningococcal and the Tdap, it'll show. So the student's record is going to show that they have a religious exemption for polio, for HPV, for DPT, but you're not seeing the Tdap line or the meningococcal line. That means that that religious exemption has not been marked for those vaccines. So you want to make sure you mark those. So when these kids, especially the ones that are rolling over to 7th grade that now require the Tdap and the meningococcal, those SIAs are not sending letters home to parents they should not be sending letters home to. because they have a religious exemption. So just make sure, if you guys need some assistance with running this report, let me know. Just make sure, it's very important to clean up your immunizations for any students that are moving on. It's a big drive right now. I know you guys are getting some emails from school health. There's a lot of stuff going on, and they really want these immunizations as cleaned up as much as possible. Any help needed, put in a ticket, put in SIS immunizations. Again, I am willing to make a phone call and help walk you guys through any help you need on the SIS side. Thank you.
What's the deadline for the cleanup date? Is it end of the year or sooner than that?
Well, the cleanup should be before they go on to the next school. So the end of the year would be good, especially those going into the middle schools. So, I mean, if you want to concentrate on like your sixth graders, do that. I mean, if it helps you guys, use a set grade level and start with them. And usually we want to start with the students that are going on to another, or say you have a student who is going to another FCPS school. Yeah, don't leave those immunization hanging for that other SI to pick up. You guys should enter any immunizations you guys get. You should be entering them.
Got it.
So
Thank you.
just make sure.
All right, so just to let you guys know, I am going to put the link to our questions or Google form on the chat again. If anybody else has any questions and you want to add it, it's there. Just post it for you again in case you need to add anything. And I'll move on to our new ticketing system. So you might have seen, I know a lot of you already probably put in tickets. This is just mainly reminders. When you click on the FCPS tech support icon that's loaded already onto everybody's desktops, please make sure that you're logged in when you first open the application. There's a login button on the top right corner. And that way, when you click login, you'll be able to see all of the features that our tech support platform offers. You'll see the bubble there that says submit a ticket. And you'll also see an icon that says SIS. Those two are going to be your easiest places where you'll find anything or SIS related for under the SIS icon and to submit a ticket. When you submit a ticket, we're asking please include the word SIS and the module that your question pertains to. For example, SIS elementary sectioning, SIS elementary grading, SIS enrollment, SIS attendance. Include that both in the subject line and the description box, as well as in the description box, include your school name, your student information, student IDs, and as many details as you can send us regarding your issue. Screenshots are always, welcome if you can get those to us. The more information that we have, the faster it might be for us to assist you in resolving your ticket. Once the ticket is resolved and there are no further questions or concerns, please do not reply to the resolution email that causes the ticket to reopen again. And it will stay open for us and you as well until it's reclosed. So if there are no further questions, you can just leave. You'll get a resolution email and you can leave that ticket be. And next slide. And I mentioned before the SIS icon in the tech support portal. When you click on the SIS icon, you'll see all of our most commonly requested account request forms. There's direct links to those forms on that page. So for example, teacher accounts, non-teacher accounts, there's direct links there. Right now is a good time to start running your staff directory. And remember the staff directory is year specific. So run it both in 23-24 and 24-25 to kind of compare and start cleaning up your records. A lot of the time, especially now in the summer, you're going to be submitting account requests on behalf of another staff member. When you're submitting on behalf of somebody else, please make sure that you're selecting the correct form, filling out all the fields, and then click on place request. When you click on place request, this will open a side window which will allow you to enter the email of the person who the request is for. If you don't do that, the request comes through as if it's for you yourself requesting a change in your access level, and we definitely don't want any issues with your account because you guys, definitely need it during the summer as you're enrolling students and working on it daily. So please make sure when you click place request, a side window will open, review that, and make sure you've entered the email correctly of the staff member who that request is for. Okay, reports that you can run now are TCH 401, that's the staff directory. Again, that's year specific. And the next one is U-REV 8501. That report is the user access level at your school. It's not year specific, and you might want to run that just in case if somebody had a certain position at your school this year and they're changing next year and they might need a different access level. You can submit those requests there. Account requests must come through on the proper form. Again, it's found in the tech support portal. A lot of the requests, specifically the non-teacher requests, need to be approved by your school's principal. So we need to make sure that that request is approved before we can act on it. And the way to get to all of our service request forms is if you click on the tech support icon, click on the service catalog, accounts and passwords, and scroll all the way down to SIS, and you'll be able to see our teacher account requests, non-teacher account requests, the delete account request form as well. More information, there's a link on the presentation that will take you to the SIS account request QRG, but you're also always welcome to submit a ticket if you don't know which access level to choose for a certain staff member. We can help you with the form and making that selection. Thank you. We can go to the next slide. And just a few reminders, please avoid directly emailing the IT FAST team specialist. Specialists sometimes are in meetings and doing trainings like this one. They may be on leave, or your email may not be seen or responded to properly. So please make sure you're submitting a ticket. That way all the specialists can have access to it and can answer and reply to you in a timely manner. Also check the Employee Hub site, the SIS site, for resources. We have all of our quick reference guides on there that might be able to answer a lot of your questions as well. If a tech support ticket is created, again, all the specialists have access to your requests and can assist with your needs. Please also make sure you're checking the Outlook Student Information 23-24 folder, which contain important messages. A few of the recent messages that have gone out, message 85 went out yesterday. That's the April monthly membership guidance. Message 84 was regarding printing assessment mailers for parents and SIS. Message 83 had to do with in-person flexible instructional time. And message 80 was the online registration for 2024-2025 school year update. So if you want to review those are recent, might have some recent information that you'll need. And next slide. Just wanted to remind you all, we have our upcoming training site, and I can put this site on the chat as well. A few upcoming trainings that we have: elementary attendance. That is a virtual attendance that you can take anytime if you or your office assistants may need to review. The elementary grading and open office hours. The link to join and sign up is on there. There's enrollment trainings, like Martha mentioned before, elementary sectioning training, which will start soon in the spring. Those links are there on the website, as well as immunization and health. And our last slide for support. You've met all of our elementary support members. Again, there's Anne-Marie Boken, Patty Lopez, Martha Rivera, myself, Maria Rodriguez, Karen Stamper, and Marilyn Wise. Again, please submit tickets, use the quick reference guides, and we're happy to answer any questions or scenarios that you might have.